Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Dr. Drew or Andrew. No, I'm not a doctor. I'm a massage therapist, but I like helping people. I understand women, I understand men, I understand how nature works, and that's lost on people. So today, I want to talk about women's power or the illusion of their power. Gentlemen, you have to understand that the only power that women have over you is the power you allow them to have. And what I mean by that is usually, and women know this, and they'll, I'm sure they're agreeing with me. They know that their power is based on our fear of them taking away something from us, and they know it. And usually, it's access to their bodies. See, men care too much about getting laid because you're, again, not focused on being your best self. That's what I talk about all the time, is men being balanced, and men aren't balanced today and care too much about getting laid. And when you focus on getting laid, well, you're not going to attract women because you're not being attractive, because you're not focused on yourself. You're not being your best self. You're not centered. Your energy's off, and women can sense this stuff. But they also know that they can manipulate us by taking away that thing down there. And so that's why I say their power is it's a thin veil. Women's power is a very thin veil. And their power is all in your fear as a man, whatever they're going to take away from you. So if you don't care what they're going to take away from you, or what they say, or what they do, well, they have no power. Again, it's a very thin veil. They cannot overtake us as men physically. That's why they have to use emotional manipulation and psychological manipulation to get us to go against ourselves, go against our principles, our words, our morals, our whatever it is, to get their way. They want to seduce us into doing things for them, always. And I talk about this all the time. It will never change. That's women for you, and that's okay. I'm not demonizing them for that. I simply understand it and don't allow them to manipulate me. And gentlemen, you have to understand, and you have to be so in tune with this that you can spot their manipulation in real time. See, most men can't, and because it's so subtle, it really is. Like, let me tell you a story real quick. So I had a buddy. He owns a restaurant, still does. I used to work for him briefly. Well, I say briefly, but for a few years, just on Sundays, 4 hours a week. Like, I own my own business, so I didn't need his money at all. I didn't need to be there. I was doing it out of favor for him, and because I don't want to sit around my house twiddling my thumbs. I don't believe in playing video games and all that stuff. Men build things, okay? Boys play games, right? Video games. I don't have time for that. And yeah, I just called y'all out. Men do not play video games. Anyways, so I was helping my buddy out at his restaurant, and he messed with our pay. And it was pretty shady what he did, and it pissed me off, and I called him out on it. I called him up one day, or I texted him and was like, hey, when are you free? We need to sit down and have a conversation. So as soon as he got that text, a little while later, he calls me and he's like, hey man, what's up? What's wrong? You know? And I was like, look, this is a conversation we need to have in person, right? Because you talk about money, I want to talk about it in person. We don't need to go exchange on the phone or via text. Let's have a man-to-man here, right? So you're gonna mess with my money. I'm sure you guys can agree. You don't want nobody messing with your money, right? Anyways, so he knew I was pissed off already, right? So he came up to the restaurant, and he brought his wife with him, right? And he knew I was mad, which I'm sure he told his wife, hey, we got to go talk to Andrew. He's pissed off about something. So she knew that I was pissed off already. I mean, she had to, because he's only coming up there for me. And so I go to pull him aside, and she starts following us. And I turned around, and I was waiting on him to say something to her, but he didn't. So I had to chime in. And I looked at her, and I said, hey, I was like, you can go in and sit down. I was like, we'll be in a minute. This doesn't have anything to do with you. She stopped, and she looks at him for approval. And then finally, he's like, yeah, we'll be in a minute. Fine, whatever. So we go around the corner, and I start laying into him. This is BS. This is yada, 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 blah, 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 blah. It wasn't about the money per se. It was about the principle. You don't mess with people's money. Like I said, I didn't need it, but it's the fact that you don't mess with people's money, right? that's just really shady as a business owner. So anyways, I was calling him out, and eventually our conversation went inside. And how you doing, buddy? This is Blaze. Hey, buddy, this is Blaze. Anyways, we went inside and we carried on our me laying into him, whatever. And the restaurant was closing, so nobody was really in there except for, me, him, his wife, and the workers or whatever. And everybody can see this whole exchange going on, right, between me and him. And finally, he said something along the lines of, Andrew, you're just gonna have to look out for yourself. It's everybody in for himself out here. And I said, yeah. Apparently, you can't even count on your boss. You're people that are supposed to be treating you right to actually treat you right. I was like, that's kind of messed up. And I was like, that's not fair in life, And his wife chimed in and was like, yeah, it is messed up, life. And I was like, yeah, it is. It's extremely messed up. And she's like, well, it's also messed up. There's misogynists in the world. And I looked at her dead in the face and I said, yeah, it's also messed up that there's manipulative and abusive women in the world, but you don't want to have that conversation with me, lady. And she's like, well, I don't much care for how you spoke to me earlier when we got here. And I looked at her and I leaned right in, and my boss is standing right next to me. This is his wife I'm talking to. I leaned right in and said, I don't give a fuck about your feelings. All right? Who the fuck do you think you are? You don't pay my paychecks. You don't pay my bills. You're not sucking me, and you're not effing me. So who the fuck do you think you are? Right? And he's standing right next to me. I was cussing her out. And she's like, oh, I'll tell you who I am. And I said, no, you won't, because I don't give a fuck about you. You mean nothing to me, right? You can't manipulate me, which is exactly what she was trying to do in that moment. She was trying to make herself a victim in a problem that she created, right? She knew I was mad when she got there. She knew what she was doing, trying to follow us around a corner. Like, this isn't your business. You have nothing to do with this business. So why are you... I don't even know you from Eve or anybody else. I've never spoken to you in my entire life. This is my, his new wife, that I hadn't really met or anything like that. So she's basically butting into my business, my money business with him. All right, no, you don't do that. Okay, that's not your job. I don't care if you're his wife or whatever. So she was trying to get into the business, and I put a stop to it. And then she tried to play victim in a problem that she created. That's manipulation, right? And I knew it exactly in the moment what she was doing. She was trying to manipulate me and the whole situation there, right? And I was like, nope, I don't give a F. I don't care who you are. I don't know you. You mean nothing to me. So I don't care, right? Again, her power was gone, right? And my buddy, my boss, whatever, he never fired me for that, ever, right? If I was in the wrong, which he knew I wasn't in the wrong. He knew I was in the right. He knew he knew I was in the right. And that he didn't have the stones to actually stand up to her. Because see, men get into relationships with women and then you care too much about not pissing them off. And that's unattractive, guys. That's unattractive. See, you can't be afraid of rocking the boat in a relationship. You can't be afraid of rocking the ship in the relationship. You can't be afraid of rocking it. It's actually more attractive. Women are more attractive to you when you stand up for yourself, right? So after that, like I said, she was mad, at me, like she couldn't believe, she's like, oh my God, this dude's standing up to me, right? But then after that, every time I saw her after that, she was the nicest frickin', can I help you with anything? Oh this, oh that, oh blah, 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 blah. It's like, no, I don't want nothing to do with you. Like, trying to weasel your way back into my good graces after you try to manipulate me. It's like, no. Again, women's power is a thin veil. All their power is if you care about it as men. If you stop caring, they have no power over you. If you stop caring what they say, if you stop caring what they do, if you stop caring who they're effing or who they're not effing, you have to let them go and live life unattached to them, right? That's how you get them. That's how you attract them. Hey, buddy, this is Blaze again. That's how you attract them, is by not giving a F. Like, they're going to tell you otherwise, but that's them trying to manipulate you. and get you to go against that. Because again, they don't want you to know the answers to this stuff. They don't want men to know how to attract them. The fish doesn't want to tell the fisherman how to catch it. That's the whole nature of the fish, is to not get caught, right? And you know, if you want to learn how to catch fish, women, you go to the fisherman, not the fish, right? No, they don't want you to catch them, so they will vehemently disagree with this. Some women will agree with this because they will be honest about it, but most women aren't. They're gonna try to manipulate me in the comments, or other weak men that don't understand this stuff are gonna try to manipulate me in the comments and shame me and guilt me. That's what they do: shame, guilt, insults, need to be right, sign language, right? That's all manipulation. So if you don't care about what they're trying to shame you with or guilt you with, if you don't care about the emotional terrorism they're trying to use, your emotions against them or against you, or their emotions against you, they have no power over you. It's gone. It's literally vanishes. It's a thin veil, like I said. And same thing in relationships. You guys, you get into relationships with women, into committed relationships, and then she knows how to use that thing down there to get what she wants, right? The power of the P, right? And when guys are not used to getting it all the time, when they finally do get it, it's like, oh my gosh, it's like a drug. I gotta have it. Like, I gotta have more. And that's why guys get obsessed with women, because it's not really the women, it's the physical attention that they're not getting anywhere else, and they finally get some from one woman, and they're like, oh my gosh, I gotta hold on to it. I gotta hold on to it. But you trying to hold on to it, hold on to one woman, is what pushes them away from you, because you're insecure, and you don't know how to just let it be. You're attached to the outcome. See, when you're attached to the outcome, women have power over you. When you don't care what the outcome is, they have no power over you, right? Here's another story. I had a buddy that used to work at Hooters. Everybody knows what Hooters is, right? The bar, bar and grill. You go to see, young ladies in their tatas pushing up their, again, they're being manipulative, trying to use their body to get attention and tips from men, right? Anyways, I had a buddy that was a store manager at Hooters. And I stopped in one afternoon. It was about 2 o'clock, mid Monday or something like that. It wasn't a weekend or anything. And just to say hi and grab a beer and shoot the shit with him, and because I was around there, and it was beginning of October, I think, or right around then. And y'all know what Hooters colors are, right? Brown and orange. That's their whole Hooters colors, right? So I walk in there. As soon as I walk in the door, I see my buddy, and I see one of his bartenders. They're standing there by this huge pink display, right? This huge display. And it's all bright pink and all this stuff. And I was so confused, because I was like, wait a minute, isn't this Hooters, whatever, Hooters colors? And I didn't realize it was October, save the tatas. I didn't put two and two together at the time. But anyways, I was having a really good day. I was all in my confidence. I was really feeling good, my swagger, yada, yada, yada. I walk in there, yada, yada, yada. And I was like, what the is this? I was like, y'all having a party in here? And he starts laughing, and his bartender looks at me, and I'd never talked to her, actually we had been introduced, but I had never had an actual conversation or a dialogue with her besides, hey, how you doing? And so I said that. I was like, what, are y'all having a party in here? And he starts laughing, and she looks at me, and she's like, oh, that was inappropriate. That is a manipulative word that women use. That's inappropriate. There's nothing inappropriate about what men do, ever. Okay? There's nothing inappropriate. No. That's a word that women use to try to manipulate you to change your behavior. And that's exactly what she was doing in the moment. And I knew it as soon as she was doing it. And she's like, that's inappropriate. And I leaned in again. This is what I do. I said, good. I said, it's hard being in a world full of, right? I gotta watch what I say on YouTube. So, but you get my drift. It's hard being a D in a world full of P's, right? And that kind of disarmed her, and because she couldn't manipulate me to change my behavior or change my outlook. So finally she goes, yeah, you got a point. And I was like, I know. And then, I walked away, walked up to the bar. So she comes up to the bar because she's a bartender. There's a few guys up there. And we start talking about women and attraction, how most men don't understand attraction, because they don't. This is why I'm talking to you guys. And I was talking about how guys really don't. They say dumb stuff to women like, "Oh my gosh, you're so beautiful. Can I take you out on a date?" Like, and she heard me making fun of guys saying that, and she, trying to be funny and trying to be smart, which she wasn't. She's like, "Ew, is that what you say to girls?" And I was like, "Hell no." I was like, "Look, if I'm interested in somebody, I want to do anything with them, I just come out right out and say it." And she's like, "Huh? Well, I've never been approached like that either." And I said, "Hey, Kayla," I was like, "What are you doing later?" And just being funny, like, and she's a good-looking girl, like, but I didn't care what the outcome was, and I actually wasn't trying to sleep with her. I didn't care. Again, I didn't care, right? And I was like, "Kayla, what are you doing later?" And she's like, "Not you." And I was like, and she's like, "'Cause you're a bitch." And I was like, "No, because you are." And everybody starts laughing. Everybody. See how I took her trying to shame me or guilt me or whatever it was, and I turned it right back around on her? Because I didn't care. She had no power over me. I don't care. She's a bartender at Hooters. Like, that's like a stripper at a strip club trying to say she's like hot and like has any pull. Like, no, you're don't get me wrong, like, if you have to take your clothes off for money, like, I don't respect you. Sorry, ladies, I don't respect you at all. Like, there is nothing respectful about you taking your clothes off for money. So anyways, that's a whole nother thing. But so she's like, I said, "No, because you are." And then she goes over to the register, and she's sitting there just fuming. You could see it. She's like tapping her leg, and you could see just how she was fuming, right? And the guy next to me, I was like nudging him. I was like, "Hey, look," and I said it loud enough to where she could hear it, but I was whispering kind of on purpose. I was like, "Hey, look at how mad she is," and I'm just laughing about it, and she heard me, right? And she goes, "I'm not mad." And we're all just dying laughing at this point. Everybody at the bar, we're all just dying laughing, and everybody's. She's like, "Where do you think anxiety is? What do you think anxiety is?" And the guy next to me is like, "Kayla, where do you think your anxiety comes from? You being mad." So again, I called her out. She was trying to, you see what I mean? But I didn't care, right? And that's what you have to understand, gentlemen, is their power is a thin veil, right? It's all about you caring about what they're going to take away from you, or whatever it is they're trying to make you care about. Stop giving up. That's it. If you stop giving up, you take all their power away. All right? It doesn't matter what they say to you. It doesn't matter what they do to you. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like, their power is all in you caring what they think. So stop caring what they think. Go live your life because you want to. Go say whatever you want to them. All right? I'm not saying be nasty or be a jerk on purpose or anything like that, but don't try to censor yourself to please them, to get attention from them. It actually works against you when you do that. See, in that moment with Kayla, as mad as she thought she was, that girl was still attracted to me, because attraction starts with feelings. I gave her feelings. I pissed her off and gave her anxiety, right? That's what women want. They want emotions, right? They want you to make them emotional. They won't tell you this, but they do. See, you ever had a woman divorce you or leave you because you were boring? It's because you didn't know how to make her emotional. You didn't know how to stir emotions inside her. It's not because you're actually boring and don't do things and don't have hobbies. It's because you don't know how to stir emotions up inside her. You're boring, right? That's what women mean when they say that you're boring. And so, again, I understand this stuff, but I'm trying to tell you guys that you have to stop caring what they think about you, what they do. You can't care if they threaten to divorce you. Say, "Okay, here you go. Let me help you pack." And they're gonna be like, "What? Wait a minute, what?" Like, because they know that their power is all in you caring. When you stop giving crap, they have no power. It's gone. It vanishes into thin air, right? So just stop caring. The same thing with them giving you, down there. Don't want this. You can't care about getting laid. Like, when you care so much, "Oh, I gotta get laid." Like, they know how to they use that against you. When you don't care, they try to use that to get you to care. Do you see what I'm saying? Do you see how it's kind of bass backwards? You know? And it is, but most men don't realize this stuff. That's what I'm trying to teach you guys. Is it's really this simple. It literally is this simple. You just have to stop caring about what they think and what they say to you, and if they're going to remove themselves from your life. See, a confident man that knows he can attract more women doesn't care when one threatens to leave him. He just calls her bluff. Like, okay, well, I'll help you pack, but once you walk out the door, you're gone. There's no coming back, right? And you have to set the ground rules, right? You can't allow women to use you and manipulate you and to just to do anything they want. You have to lay the ground rules. You have to be a man, right? It doesn't work any other way. That's you being a man. So stop caring what they think. Stop focusing on them. Go work on yourself. Go build your business. Go build your body. Go build your house. Go build your property. Go build your life as a man because you want it. Not because you want to do it for somebody else. Not because you want to get women. Do it for you. What do you want out of life, men? That is what is attractive to women. When you are being your best self, going after what you want, doing what you want to do, not and unapologetically. And that doesn't mean to go around and hurt people. I'm not saying that whatsoever. I'm not saying go around and use people. I'm not saying abuse people. I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying don't care about what they're trying to take away from you, or don't care about what they're trying to manipulate you with. And you have to understand that every single woman on this planet is manipulated. Even your mother. I promise you. Every single one. All right? Men have been gaslit and manipulated for too long to not see these things and to not understand these things. And I'm trying to bring it to light, okay? And I'm going to get some hate for it because people don't want this stuff to light, because that's how they keep control. Insecure people don't want other people to know, right? So you have to understand these things as men, and you have to not care. So like I said, women's power, it's a very thin veil. So anyways, that's what I got for you today. It's a shorter video today. Like I said, if you got any questions, if you got anything, feel free to drop a comment or something in the comment box below, or if you got a question, I'll try to answer it. Like, I care about men, and I care about women too. Like, I'm not trying to be nasty to women. I'm not trying to hurt them or use them or manipulate them. I'm just simply not going to be used or manipulated, right? And that's their whole goal, is to manipulate us and to seduce us to get what they want. So, man, you got to understand this, and you have to see it in your own relationships. If you don't, man, I can't even help you. Like, you have to be so in tune with this stuff and aware. And so that's what I'm trying to help you guys do. So anyways, I don't mean anybody ill will. I love each and every one of you, man or woman. I am not out to hurt anybody or to deceive anybody. I do not do that. I am very honest with people. The women in my life, I tell them what's up. I'm like, look, you have an option. Like, I don't try to control women at all. You have an option. This is A and this is B, and these are the consequences. So you choose, right? That's freedom. Love is freedom, right? That's probably going to be the topic for my next video. Love is freedom. But we'll get into that later. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I care about each and every one of you. Thank you so much. Once you start living this, men, your life will change for the better. I promise you. I promise you. But you can't be angry at women for doing this stuff, right? They are manipulative by nature. It is what it is. And if they're not being manipulative, then they're not going along with their nature. So they're actually being disingenuous and dishonest people by not being manipulative, right? And I know that's bass backwards, right? That's a crazy perspective, right? But I'm trying to shift your perspective and give you some knowledge so that you can see these things in real time and call them out when they're happening, right? You can't let women push you around emotionally or psychologically. That's their whole goal. They can't push us around physically like we can push them around, right? But you can't allow them to push you around or knock you off your center. And that is their whole goal, is to see if they can push you around. They want to find a strong man that's damn, he's on his purpose, he's on his mission, he's doing things for him. And it sounds selfish, but it's not selfish, it's self-preservation. That's what See, women are going to try to, and other men are going to try to shame you, saying this is selfish. This is sophistry. How dare you? How dare you think about yourself? Like I say, nobody's coming to save you but you. Okay? Nobody's coming to save me but me. And women are out to use you and get what they want out of you. And same thing with me. That's just what they do. So you have to preserve yourself. They are succubuses. They suck the soul out of us. They suck the life out of us. They suck the money out of us. They suck the joy out of us. They suck. That's what they do. Okay? So you have to preserve yourself in dealing with them and be aware that that is what they're trying to do under the surface, even though they won't admit it, because that's, again, part of the manipulation. But that is what they're doing, period. It doesn't matter how much they love you or how much they're in love with you, they still try to do these things in some way, shape, or form. It is what it is. You can set your watch to it. I can see it everywhere. I can see it in every single relationship, in all my buddies, and all their stuff, everything. In all their relationships, you know, that term happy wife, happy life, man, what a freaking weak saying for weak men. That is garbage. If you have been manipulated to believe that, you're not happy as a man. I don't care what you have gaslit yourself or manipulated yourself into believing. Yes, I know when we love our women, we want to take care of them, but again, you can't lose yourself in taking care of them. And that whole quote, happy wife, happy life, that's you losing who you are to appease them. You've been suckered. You've been manipulated. You are losing who you are for her. She's manipulating you. You don't even realize it, and she's losing attraction for you slowly, or it's already gone. I promise you. You can set your watch to this. It is not rocket science. So, anyways, like I said, that's what I got for you guys today. Like I said, hope you enjoyed. You know, like, comment, share, whatever, or don't. Again, I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing it for y'all. I already understand this stuff and live it. I get plenty of attention from women. I don't have any problems with them. I get laid, you know. But life's not about that. That's what I'm saying. That's just a byproduct of me doing me, right? So you gentlemen, you got to do you unapologetically. That's why women always say, just be yourself, guys. Don't be anybody else, because women know when you're not being yourself and when you're being disingenuous. So don't be disingenuous. Be authentic, unapologetically. If they don't like that, well, move on to somebody else that is attracted to you, or, you know, whatever it is. But you can't be afraid of pissing them off. You can't be afraid of making them emotional. That's what attracts them, is making them emotional. All right? I talk about it all the time. So anyways, you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks.